book, right? The book is called, you probably guessed if you have been watching the stream and not just joining, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. We're gonna find out how the Grinch stole Christmas. Shall we begin? How the Grinch Stole Christmas. How the Grinch Stole Christmas. For Teddy Owens. Every Who down in Whoville liked Christmas a lot. But the Grinch, who lived just north of Whoville, did not. The Grinch hated Christmas. The whole Christmas season. Now please, don't ask why. No one quite knows the reason. It could be his head wasn't screwed on right. It could be perhaps that his shoes were on too tight. But I think that the most likely reason of all may have been that his heart was 2 sizes too small. But whatever the reason, his heart or his shoes, he stood there on Christmas Eve, hating the Who's, staring down from his cave with a sour, grinchy frown at the warm, lighted windows below in their town. For he knew every Who down in Whoville beneath was busy now hanging a mistletoe wreath. And they're hanging their stockings, he snarled with a sneer. Tomorrow is Christmas. It's practically here. Then he growled with his Grinch fingers nervously drumming. I must find some way to stop Christmas from coming. For tomorrow he knew. All the Who, girls and boys, would wake bright and early. They'd rush for their toys. And then, oh the noise. Oh the noise. 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 That's one thing he hated. The noise. 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 No bottles. Then the Who's, young and old, would sit down to a feast, and they'd feast, and they'd feast, and they'd feast, 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 feast. They would feast on Who pudding, and rare Who roast beast, which was something the Grinch couldn't stand in the least. Who pudding? What did they put Who's in the Who pudding? There's a people pudding. I feel like it sounds like they're cooking each other. And then my clothes are in the way of the words. And then they'd do something he liked least of all. Every Who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, would stand close together with Christmas bells ringing. They'd stand hand in hand, and the Who's would start singing. They'd sing and they'd sing and they'd sing, 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 sing. And the more the Grinch thought of this Who Christmas singing, the more the Grinch thought, I must stop this whole thing Why, for 53 years I put up with it now. I must stop this Christmas from coming, but how? Then he got an idea, an awful idea. The Grinch got a wonderful, awful idea. I know just what to do. The Grinch laughed in his throat, and he made a quick Santa Claus hat and a coat. And he chuckled and chuckled. What a great Grinchy trick! With this coat and his hat, I look just like Saint Nick. All I need is a reindeer, the Grinch looked around, but since reindeer are scarce, there was none to be found. Did this stop Did that stop the old Grinch? No, the Grinch simply said, if I can't find a reindeer, I'll make one instead. So he called his dog Max. Then he took some red thread and he tied a big horn on top of his head. Then he looked. Then he looked. Then he loaded some bags and some some empty sacks on a ramshackle sleigh, and they hinged up old Max. Then the Grinch said, "Giddy up," and the sleigh started down towards homes where the Who's lay a snooze in their town. All their windows were dark, quiet snow filled the air, and the Who's were all dreaming sweet dreams without care. When he came to the first little house on the square, "This is stop number 1, the old Grinchy Claus hissed, and he climbed on the roof, empty bags in his fist. Then he slunk down to the icebox. He took the Who's feast. He took the Who pudding. He took the roast beast. He cleaned out the icebox as quick as a flash. Why, that Grinch even took their last can of Who hash. And the Grinch grabbed the tree and he started to shove. When he heard a small sound like the coo of a dove, he turned around fast and he saw a small Who. Lurk little Cindy Lou, who was not more than 2. The Grinch had been caught by this tiny Who daughter, who got out of bed for a cup of cold water. She stared at the Grinch and said, "Santa Claus, why are you taking out Christmas tree? Why?" But you know that old Grinch was so smart and so slick. He thought up a lie, and he thought it up quick. "Why, my sweet little Who?" The fake Santa Claus lied. "There's a light on this tree that won't light on one side, so I'm taking it home to my workshop, my dear. I'll fix it up there, and then I'll bring it back here." And his fib for the child. Then he patted her head, and he got her a drink, and he sent her to bed. And when Cindy Lou Who went to bed with her cup, he went to the chimney and stuffed the tree up. Bah! Then the last thing he took was the log for the fire. Then he went up the chimney himself, the old liar. On their walls he left nothing but hooks and some wire, and the one spark of food that he left in the house was a crumb that was even too small for a mouse. Then it was dawn, and all the Who's still at bed. All the Who's still a snooze when he packed up his sled. Packed it up with their presents, the ribbons, the wrappings, their tags, and the tinsel, the trimmings, the trappings. 3,000 feet up the side of Mr. Crumpet, Mount Crumpet. He rode with his load to the tip top to dump it. Pooh pooh to the Who's, he was grinchishly humming. They're finding out now that no Christmas is coming. They're just waking up. I know just what they'll do. Their mouths will hang open a minute or two. Then the Who's down in Whoville will all cry, boo-hoo. That's a noise, grinned the Grinch, that I simply must hear. So he paused, and the Grinch put his hand to his ear, and he did hear a sound rising over the snow. It started in low, and then started to grow. Oh no. And, oh god, I can't read this. It's all just red. Every Who down in Whoville the tall and the small was singing something. Hold on. That's not much better. Was singing, woohoo, where are my any presents at? What any presents at all? He hadn't stopped Christmas from coming. It came somehow or other. It came just the same. And the Grinch, with his Grinch fear ice cold in his snow, stood puzzling and puzzling. How could it be so? It came without ribbons, it came without tags, it came without packages, boxes, or bags. And he puzzled 3 hours till his puzzler was sore. Then the Grinch thought of something he hadn't before. Maybe Christmas, he thought, doesn't come from a store. Maybe Christmas, perhaps, means a little bit more. Which is a little sad, is realizing. And what happened then? Well, in Whoville they say that the Grinch's small heart grew 3 sizes that day. And the minute his heart didn't feel quite so tight, he whizzed with his load through the bright morning light. And he brought back the toys and the food for the feast. And he himself, the Grinch, carved the roast beast. East. Yay! Wow. He did it! The Grinch, he realized that Christmas wasn't about gifts, it was about spending time with people and carving ham? Wow. Clap, 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 clap. Wow, that was a good one. So that's how the Grinch stole Christmas. Ah.